Hello people, welcome back here to the channels Tapa Olho Azul and Super Acadêmico with one more video about, well, today you see the theme, the subject of the day, and don't forget to subscribe to the channels and ring the bell for notifications. Take a look at the description below to see what else we can offer you. So today I'm going to talk about some comparisons between two literatures. One example of Brazilian literature and one example of English literature, mostly American literature. I'll talk about the use of the mystical subjects, the mystical themes in the work of Jorge Amado. It's a writer, author here in Brazil. And Jorge Amado, it's a writer, a Brazilian writer from my state, Bahia. Is very famous in all over the world. He's very known for his works about Brazilian subjects and Bahian subjects, and he uses a lot in his work mystical and religious subjects, mostly in contact, mostly referring to the African African religions, symbols of African religion, mostly what I would call in English like voodoo, or in Cuba is called Santeria. Here in Brazil is called Candomblé. And the author I'll compare him with is Stephen King. Stephen King, famous author all over the world too, for his work mainly with horror, horror books, horror stories. Many of his stories became movies. Also, here in Brazil, many stories from Jorge Amado's works became movies, or we call here telenovela, with soap operas. It's different way. The first thing is, in both authors, the mystical, the supernatural themes are very present. In Jorge Amado, we have the entities from Candomblé present in his work in many ways. For example, you have in the book Jubiaba, for example, you have a central character that is very much driven by the entities. Also, one of his most famous work, Miss Flor, and her two husbands. It's a story of a woman that gets widower. Her first husband dies, and he marries again, but using these entities, this relation with the supernatural, the mystical, from Candomblé, from African religions, uh, she evokes her first husband, and they coexist in a ironical way. It's Jorge Amado uses more the irony to critiques the society, the hypocrisy of society, different from Stephen King, which used the horror, the terror, the suspense to conduct his critics, his addressing to the society, about society. And same way, Stephen King uses this mystical, supernatural themes, mainly, mainly as far as I can tell, as a reader and a watcher of his stories. He uses much uh, Native Native American uh, mythology, supernatural from this Native American legends, and it's funny and it's nice that he used that as a quick start, as a jump into the story with the supernatural being something like the the force that drivens the characters into a problematic situation. Is more like a not something um, horrifying in itself, but much more the use of this supernatural entities or powers and mystic powers to conduct the choices of the characters, much similar to Jorge Amado's. And in Jorge Amado's work, the 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 African religion entities, the Candomblé entities, they uh, they don't force the choices of the characters, but they influence, and this influence that can be positive or negative, conducts the character to make choices, and these choices that are responsible for the story, the happenings of the story. And so, like in the example that I gave, the wife, Flo, she chooses to have uh, his her former husband close to her for sexual reasons. She wants the husband that it was an unfaithful husband, but it was a sexual, active husband, creative uh, husband, along her, close to her, so she can she can be pleasured and she can be satisfied with her needs. And the new husband, the alive one, the live one, he's a good man, a faithful man, but he's not very good uh, his sexual activity. So she chooses that by using the knowledge of the mystic arts, the candomblé arts, the supernatural, but she regrets in some points and tries to get rid of the ghosts. And of course, in the end, she decides to keep both husbands. That's the great problem, the great critic that Jorge Amado does with the story about the monogamy and the state of a monogamy and family with as an institution that hypocritically don't let the woman, mostly the woman, have their the women have their ways to keeping having pleasure and so on. And in Stephen King's done the choices that are made for by the characters lead them to horrifying things. And like in Carrie, for example, Carrie discovers that she has supernatural powers. Well, in this case, that's not connected with Native American mystic religion, but it's a good example. She discovers that she has uh, supernatural powers, and the choices that she makes to become popular at school, eh, to be accepted by the other girls, the other people in the school, despite of the religion background at home with her mother, made her a destructive being, made her destroy and kill a lot of people. So, in the same way, it's a critic to the hypocrisy, a critic to the superficial relations of middle class America. So this is kind of a parallel. In Pet Cemetery, you have the choice of not letting go with the loss of a dear one, and the use of the supernatural powers from the Native American uh, beliefs of the cemetery that resurrects the being. And so the father and husband insists in resurrecting his loved ones, leading then the family to destruction. So it's like it's a critic to materialism. It's a critic to the need of the people, and the need of the people to be always in connection with something or someone. And I think it's two good examples of comparison. I think maybe in Thin Theme is a good example to a use of supernatural mystical powers in a bad way, which end up in destruction of a family too. If you don't know, this story is a story of a man, a fat man that accidentally accidentally runs over and kills the daughter of a gypsy, and the gypsy puts a curse on him, so he can get thin and thin and thinner and thinner and thinner until he disappears, something like that. So he reverts the curse, but in a vengeful way, and because he discovers that his wife was possibly betraying him, cheating on him with his friend, and it ends up badly. So the big difference, the biggest similarity between the two authors is the use of supernatural, of beliefs from different backgrounds, native Native American, African, gypsies, and but with the means to make some kind of a critic, some kind of a speech about something. And the biggest difference is about the way they use. Jorge Amado uses with irony, sometimes comedy, and in stories that are more political driven, as states about something like the hypocrisy of family, the hypocrisy of monogamy, the hypocrisy wherever. And Stephen King used to deliver to the reader, to the viewer, the horror, the terror, the violence, the gore sometimes, or the psychological thriller, wherever, but with the means also to make a statement about something that's probably wrong in society. So this is the video for today. I hope you have enjoyed. I try to bring new themes, new problems to develop here in the channels in English. Make your comments, make questions. You can ask anything about Brazilian literature, for example. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications if you like, and also take a look at the description for the links below. So we see you next time. Bye bye.